When Netflix dropped this quirky action film, we all had conflicting feelings about it. Some people thought it was just too predictable, while others adored it. But if there's one thing we know about the Russo brothers, it's that they love leaving us on a cliffhanger so they can give, you guessed it, a sequel. In this video, we'll talk about how Gosling and Dhanush plan to return to our screens. First off, the lone wolf is making a comeback. Somewhere between all the things blowing up and people in suits dropping dead while a record plays in the background, one of the most hyped up roles we were looking forward to seeing was the one played by Dhanush. Sure, Sierra 6 was cool and all, and Gosling managed to get a lot of praise for his impressive acting. But this was the Tamil actor's first venture into Hollywood, and he left us in awe. Although Lone Wolf, aka Avik San, only came in briefly, his elusive character left quite a bit of an impression, and even after he gave up the necklace, we just knew this wasn't the last we'd seen of him. And it turns out, we were right. There's no way that Sierra 6's one and only equal competitor wouldn't try to get involved, especially when they're looking for the same man in the sequel. Second, so what role will he play in the film? Avik San's a man of few principles, and the easiest way to convince him is to pay his price. From what we've seen in the trailer, it looks like he'll be back in the sequel to hunt for the same man as Gentry, but obviously with different intentions. The Lone Wolf is, of course, the spy agency's last card to play, but only time will tell if this card can trump our hero. Also, in an interview, Dhanush mentioned that he doesn't just want to be known as a South Indian, but given a fair chance to prove himself as a plain Indian actor. And if his recent performance is anything to go on, it looks like he's here to carve his place in the industry. Moving on, the spin-off might be based on Dhanush. Of course, Gosling and Chris Evans were the movie's star-studded attractions, but it was Dhanush's acting that critics loved the most. That's because even though Ryan was the lead star, many critics still think he just doesn't do a great job at playing the kind of role. If you look at his acting in Blade Runner, which is another high-budget blockbuster, Gosling seems to stick to having a fixed, stiff expression. He doesn't have the same high adrenaline energy as most action movie stars, and the same problem shows up in this movie. It looks like even the Russos want to focus on Lone Wolf. On Twitter, Joe said that he's one of the top assassins of the world. He's a sort of classic badass character who shows up to combat the hero and complicate the film. If the audience likes this film, we expand the storytelling from here. This character is a fascinating character to move forward in that world, and we totally agree. Also, the Russos had a lot to say about the sequel and the spin-off. Right after the film took off and made it to the top, the Russos were pleasantly surprised to see that the planned franchise took off as nicely as it did. In an interview, they talked about how our enthusiastic response to the movie made them want to give us even more. They went on to say that they didn't really want to jinx anything, but they had big plans for expanding the world of the movie, and just really focusing on a wider narrative instead of just one mission to the next. We don't know about you, but we definitely like to know more about Gentry and if he's gonna heal from his terrible past. Gosling even joked about eventually adapting all the books of the series. Okay, that might be dragging it out a little bit. Finally, the sequel's got a lot packed for us. You'll be happy to hear that the sequel might impress you just a little bit more than the movie itself did. Well, at least we'd get some more action on screen. Since the movie is an adaptation of Mark Greaney's spy thriller, the sequel's expected to follow the events of the second book in the series. The ongoing series has almost 10 books out already, so there's a lot of material for the show's creators to draw on. But let's not forget that they didn't follow the source material to a T. Well, mostly they ignored it completely. Still, the Russos have confirmed that they're planning on drawing stuff from there, and if we look at the plot for On Target, then we should expect to see Court Gentry on another assassination mission, but this time, he's got to kill Sudan's president, who's supposed to start a genocide, and obviously, the CIA will once again be a thorn in the side and do their best to get in the way of this plan. Last we saw Denny Carmichael, the evil mastermind behind all the CIA killings, he was alive and thriving. For some reason, bad guys seem to live very long lives, but not to worry. 6 is back in action, and there's no way that he'll just let regé-jean Pade's character get away with everything. There's still a lot of time left till we get to see anything at all. They've just started discussing cast and other details for it. So at this rate, filming's gonna start next year. If we do our calculations right, we should expect the sequel in 2024. Fingers crossed. And here's some other related news you might have missed out on. First off, how popular can this movie even get? Look, even if you don't 100% like this movie, you have to agree that it's becoming extremely popular. Like to the point where it got us thinking that this could even beat The Red Notice, which so far has been the most popular film on Netflix. But even though it's one of the biggest productions of all time, and they invested a good $200 million in it, people predicted that it wouldn't really reach the same level as Don't Look Up or Red Notice. That's because it wasn't pulling in the same numbers as some of the most viewed films. Like, can you believe people are still watching Bird Box, Kissing Booth 2, and The Irishman? And these films have crazy views. Even if you just look at opening weekend hours, the movie only managed to get half of what Red Notice got. And believe us when we tell you that it managed to get almost 148.72 million views, which is near impossible to beat. On top of that, it got fewer hours watched than Don't Look Up and The Atom Project, but recently it did manage to make it to the top, beating every film except for Red Notice, which stayed at the top for 12 days. Even if it was briefly, it was Netflix's most popular film for a week. That's gotta count for something. Second, is there like a problematic trend going on with this one? Considering how much money the streaming platform spent on marketing and production, we were kinda expecting the film to blow us away. It was nice for sure, but it wasn't as amazing as we'd half hope it would be. Even if it did dominate the global top 10 view charts, experts suspect that it exposes a big Netflix weakness. The problem is that the platform knows it's got some serious competition. As subscribers slowly drifted away, they panicked. That's why they put all their eggs in one basket and pushed hard for this movie to sweep up viewers and make them want to stay, all packed in with a spin-off and a sequel too. But the main issue is they relied too hard on the star-studded cast to carry the film to the finish line, when what they should have done is focused on the CGI in the movie itself. Finally, a Decentraland version of the movie. There's nothing cooler than expecting a fictional world in the metaverse, and apparently Netflix thought so too. Since the streaming platform allowed Decentraland users to see Sierra 6's world from the inside, they made it work by having the viewers try to figure out what happens next by remembering the movie's plot. And of course, the whole thing is a spy mission through a maze, a setting that sounds very familiar to the final scene of the movie itself. Together with Martin Shibuya, the art director of Decentraland Foundation, and Diego Alvarez, a senior business developer of the Electric Factory, developed and designed this game. As soon as you step foot inside the labyrinth, you'll hear the film's soundtrack and Ryan Gosling's instructional video. Decentraland and Netflix Latin America created a way for users to enter the metaverse, specifically with a scene from the film. The concept behind that was not just to attract anyone who's already seen the movie, but also to encourage any users already playing the game to watch the film itself. That's some genius marketing right there. That's a wrap for this video. Are you excited to see Dhanush's secretive agent character again? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one!